Comment down below where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe if you hate Karen. Marcus Mac Harper begins his weekly Tech and Life vlog much the way a seasoned radio host cues a favorite record, smooth, deliberate, and aimed straight at the heart of his audience of adults and seniors who appreciate a friendly voice with practical insights. From the comfort of his cedar-paneled home office in suburban Ohio, he greets viewers with a warm smile, the gentle creak of an antique rocker audible beneath him. "Good afternoon, friends," he says, leaning closer to the camera so that the crow's feet beside his eyes catch the late-day sunlight. If you enjoy stories about everyday adventures, and a few cautionary tales, tap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment. He pauses just long enough for newcomers to find the icons, then continues, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial hush. "And please drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I truly love reading about your hometowns, it reminds me how wide and welcoming this country can be." With the social formalities complete, Mac raises what he calls the crown jewel of his modest gadget collection, a charcoal gray Ultraslate ZX smartphone shimmering beneath the overhead LED lamp. The device is roughly 6 inches tall and weighs a hair under 8 ounces, light enough, he jokes, to rest on a slice of homemade pie without denting the crust. He rotates the phone so the triple-lens camera array glints like a trio of tiny telescopes. "I bought this beauty for its video stabilization," he explains, recounting how shaky footage of his granddaughter's first T-ball swing convinced him to upgrade from a 5-year-old handset. The Ultraslate cost him just under $1,200, tax included. Money he could have spent on a comfortable recliner, but, as he cheerfully notes, memories are worth more than cushions. Mac's tone turns reflective as he unlocks the phone to display a thumbnail reel of his life, grainy black and white scans of his parents' wedding, a watercolor sunrise over Lake Erie, last winter's snowman built with grandkids bundled like marshmallows. He lingers on a photo of his late wife, Rose, standing beside a garden arch dripping with wisteria. "Every picture here," he says softly, "reminds me why technology is only as valuable as the stories it helps us tell." For a moment, the bustling world behind the camera seems to fall silent, replaced by the faint whir of a desk fan and the ticking of a nautical-style wall clock. Just as the nostalgia threatens to drift into melancholy, Mac brightens, tapping the phone's stainless steel frame. "Stick around," he promises, because today's adventure starts at the Pleasant View Saturday Market. Fresh tomatoes, hand-spun honey, and, believe it or not, a run-in with someone who thought this phone belonged to her. He chuckles, shaking his head. "Trust me, you don't want to miss how that turned out." He pockets the Ultraslate and claps his hands once, a habit from decades of leading community workshops. "All right, friends, refill your coffee mugs, settle in, and let's roll that opening sequence." Cue his trademark intro, a gentle slide guitar riff over sepia-tinted snapshots of Midwest landmarks, fading finally to a title card that reads, "Everyday Courage with Mac Harper." In 50 measured seconds, he has welcomed newcomers, honored loyal subscribers, and set the stage for a tale about personal boundaries and public decency, proof that even in the age of cutting-edge smartphones, the oldest stories begin with a friendly greeting and a shared sense of wonder. The Pleasant View Saturday Market unfolds like a Norman Rockwell painting rewritten for the 21st century. Stalls of heirloom tomatoes and lavender honey run the length of Maple Lane, while a brass quartet plays "Blue Skies" beneath the gazebo. Mac Harper, camera clipped to a shoulder rig, weaves through the crowd narrating to his mature audience in that calm Ohio drawl. "Friends, if you can smell the kettle corn, you're already halfway to happiness," he jokes. His Ultraslate ZX captures everything in crisp 4K, toddlers licking blueberry ice pops, retired couples comparing quilting fabric, sun glint off mason jars of pickles. Then trouble glides into frame wearing designer athleisure and oversized sunglasses. Priscilla Pendleton, local socialite and purveyor of mild chaos, stops directly in front of Mac. Her 14-year-old daughter, Cassidy, trails behind clutching a ring light and a glitter-pink phone case ready for TikTok glory. Pre's gaze locks on the Ultraslate's triple-lens array. "Oh perfect," she says, voice syrupy yet sharp. You there, content guy, hand that phone over. My Cassidy needs proper equipment for her dance channel. Mac lowers the rig, smile polite. Ma'am, I use this for my livelihood. Pre waves a manicured hand as if swatting a fly. Nonsense. You can't expect real creators to work with budget devices. Be a dear, hand it over. She rummages in her wristlet and produces a crumpled $1 bill. I'll even pay. Generous, right? A nearby vendor, Mr. Howard Barnes, a Korean War vet selling beefsteak tomatoes, lets out a wheezy chuckle. Shopper's turn. Mac feels the familiar squeeze of adrenaline that hits when a vlog segment threatens to spin beyond PG-13. He keeps his voice steady for the microphone. Thank you, but it's not for sale. Pre's lips compress into a line so thin they nearly disappear. You're depriving a young girl's dreams, she declares, projecting for the growing audience. Do you have any idea how viral her routines are? This is practically a hate crime against future influencers. Cassidy flushes crimson but says nothing, eyes darting from the ring light to the ultraslate as if calculating likes lost per second. Pre steps closer, perfume cloud mingling with kettlecorn steam. Last chance, Grandpa Tech. $1 for the phone or face consequences. Mac isn't rattled easily, raising 3 kids and mentoring scouts preps a man for confrontation, but the entitlement grates. He straightens, ensuring the camera catches both faces. Ma'am, refusing to sell personal property isn't a crime. Now please let me continue recording. Pre exhales a theatrical huff, flips her sunglasses to her head, and claps once, an attention-getting signal cribbed from reality TV sound stages. Fine. You asked for it. She snatches her designer phone, dials 911 on speaker so everyone hears the triple beep, and launches into a speech worthy of late-night drama reruns. Operator, yes, I'm at the Pleasant View Market and an older male is threatening my daughter's creative future. He refuses a fair sale, and I believe it's discrimination. Gasps ripple through the fruit stand aisle. Mr. Barnes mutters, great day in the morning, while a college student livestreams from behind a crocheted goods table. Mac keeps rolling, calm but firm. Friends, he narrates for his senior audience, we're witnessing the birth of a teachable moment. Stay tuned. He steps aside to avoid blocking foot traffic, gives Cassidy a sympathetic nod, none of this is the kid's idea, and waits for the inevitable flashing lights. Across the green, children abandon the face-painting booth to watch. A golden retriever tilts its head. Even the brass quartet falters, the trombone hanging on a blue note as Pre's voice carries, yes, officer, a hate crime against artistic expression. Mac silently counts his blessings, full battery, wide-angle lens, and the confidence that truth, recorded in 60 frames per second, will outshine bluster. A click echoes from Pre's speaker as the dispatcher transfers her to first responder triage. She amps up the performance, weaving a tale of elderly aggression, property intimidation, and the callous sabotage of a teenage girl's career. Mac keeps filming, offering no rebuttal, the lens, he knows, tells its own story. Meanwhile, Cassidy shifts from embarrassment to mortification. She whispers, Mom, please, this is too much. Pre shushes her. Opportunity knocks once, sweetheart. She presses the dollar bill against Mac's chest like a sheriff pinning a badge, then spins to address the onlookers. Ladies and gentlemen, witness the cruelty of modern gatekeeping. Pre declares. This man denies a simple request from a child. Mac calmly removes the bill, folds it, and tucks it into her wristlet. Keep your money, ma'am. And for the record, I mentor teen creators twice a month at the community center, free of charge. Pre recoils as though he handed her a live tarantula. Virtue signaling won't save you, she hisses, just as a siren whoops in the distance. Enter stage left, Officer Elena Ramirez and Officer Todd Daniels, lights flashing on their cruiser. They park near the gazebo, prompting the brass quartet to shuffle off-key. Ramirez approaches Pre first, notebook ready. You reported an emergency. Pre launches into her saga: dangerous refusal, psychological trauma, a phone worth pennies. She waves the dollar, and a man, clearly motivated by bias. Ramirez's brows rise incrementally, but she listens, pen poised. Daniels speaks with Mac, who replays footage directly from the ultraslate. The officers see a polite refusal, a dollar offer, and a meltdown. No threats, no hateful language. Daniels nods and murmurs, "Thanks for cooperating, sir." Ramirez finishes interviewing Pre, then poses a direct question: "Ms. Pendleton, are you alleging he used slurs or physical intimidation?" Pre sputters. Her story unravels under the weight of body cam logic. Ramirez explains Ohio law regarding personal property and disorderly conduct. Cassidy, tears brimming now, tugs at her mother's sleeve. "Can we go home?" Pre's frustration boils over. She rounds on Mac. "I hope you're happy destroying a child's future." The crowd reacts, a teen boy chuckles, an older woman shakes her head. Pre tries another tack: "Fine. I'll just buy one online and sue you for emotional damages." Officer Daniels intervenes. "Ma'am, let's step over to the cruiser." He hands her a yellow citation sheet: "Misuse of emergency services, a Class 4 misdemeanor carrying a $250 fine plus administrative costs." Pre's jaw drops. "You're kidding." "No, ma'am," Ramirez says calmly. 911 is for emergencies. A business disagreement isn't one. The brass quartet, sensing resolution, resumes "Blue Skies," this time in a jaunty major key. Applause sprouts among the shoppers. Mr. Barnes lifts a basket of tomatoes, red as rubies, and places it in Mac's arms. "On the house," he says. "For keeping your cool." Mac turns to his camera. "Friends, civility costs nothing and saves you a citation." He thanks the officers, shakes Danielle's hand, and gives Cassidy a business card for the free video workshop. Her shy smile suggests hope amid the humiliation. Pre stomps off, daughter in tow, leaving the dollar bill flitting across the pavement like an autumn leaf. Ramirez retrieves it and hands it to Mac. "Evidence," she winks. He grins. "Souvenir." As the cruiser pulls away, Mac addresses his viewers: "Remember, folks, entitlement is loud but the law is clear. Protect your property, and more important, protect your peace." He pockets the ultraslate, thanks Mr. Barnes again, and signs off for the afternoon, unaware that Pre Pendleton's bruised ego is hatching Act 2 of this unscripted drama. Evening settles over Pleasantview with the pastel hush of fireflies blinking alive. Mac edits the day's footage, preparing a segment titled "Dollar Drama at the Market," when his ultraslate buzzes. An unknown number flashes across the screen. Vocations in community mentoring teach him caution, yet he answers. Curiosity edges out prudence. A raspy whisper crackles through the speaker: "I know where you live." The call disconnects. Mac stares at the phone. A text pings in queue, an address, his, and 3 knife emojis. Mac's first instinct is to document. He captures screenshots, noting time stamps, 9:42 p.m., and GPS metadata. Then he calls Officer Daniels's direct line. Daniels advises filing a formal harassment report in the morning. Meanwhile, secure the house, note any suspicious activity, and avoid direct confrontation. Mac checks locks, adjusts porch lights to motion sensor mode, and reviews archived footage from his doorbell cam. No anomalies. He tries to resume editing but the cursor blinks like a warning beacon. Sleep will not come easy tonight. He positions the ultraslate on the nightstand, camera pointed toward the hallway, just in case. At 1:58 a.m., motion sensors trigger. Porch lights blaze. The doorbell cam pings Mac's phone with a live feed: Pre Pendleton crouched at his wrought iron gate, bolt cutters raised, Cassidy nowhere in sight. She struggles with the padlock, muttering curses. Mac's pulse accelerates. He dials 911. Location, the dispatcher asks. Trespass in progress, Mac replies, voice steady despite the adrenaline surge. Within minutes, the distant howl of sirens slices the quiet cul-de-sac. Mac flicks on floodlights and steps onto the porch, mindful to keep a safe distance and his camera recording. "Pre, this is trespassing," he calls out. She whirls, bolt cutters mid-air. "You ruined my daughter's dreams," she screeches. Streetlights catch her wild eyes. The perfume of earlier has soured into a frantic sweat. Mac lifts his phone like a shield. The police are en route. Leave now. Instead she swings the cutters at the chain again. The steel sparks. Mac retreats inside, locks the door, keeps filming through sidelights. Tires screech curbside, officers Ramirez and Daniels sprint up the walk, flashlights slashing arcs across lawn ornaments. "Drop the tool." Daniels commands. Pre backs away but refuses to comply. Ramirez steps in, taser drawn but not fired, voice steady as granite. "Last warning." Pre hurls the cutters toward the driveway, they clatter like cymbals, and collapses to her knees, sobbing about cancelled futures and online fame. Handcuffed and Mirandized, she's guided to the cruiser. Mac provides footage and the threatening text. Ramirez photographs fresh scratch marks on the gate, vandalism evidence. Pre, now under the cruiser's dome light, howls that the charges are fabricated. Yet the 5 neighbors who've gathered in pajamas saw everything live-streamed on Mac's channel, their real-time comments scrolling, "Call the cops." "Stay safe, Mac." "Record everything." Back inside, Mac pours chamomile tea, hands trembling as adrenaline ebbs. He addresses the late-night viewers still tuned in. "Folks, conflict escalates when ego overrides reason. Protect your safety first, stuff can be replaced, lives can't." He ends the impromptu stream and finally, at 4 a.m., drifts into a light sleep. Dawn breaks with pink streaks across Pleasant View's sky, but Mac's morning is anything but serene. Officers return to photograph daylight evidence for the vandalism case. They file a temporary restraining order. Pre Pendleton must stay 300 feet from Mac's property and abstain from all communication, digital or otherwise. News travels fast. The local AM station airs Smartphone Standoff, interviewing Officer Daniels, who reminds listeners that misuse of 911 is punishable by fines and possible jail time. Senior callers flood the switchboard with praise for Mac's composure. Mac, however, focuses on reinforcing home security. A contractor friend installs a reinforced gate chain and Wi-Fi-enabled flood cams. Total cost, $620, an expense Mac documents for potential restitution. He films a tutorial on affordable safety upgrades, integrating sponsor-provided graphics for the older audience who appreciate step-by-step visuals. That afternoon, a certified letter arrives from Pre's attorney threatening defamation suits if Mac publishes footage. He forwards it to his legal aid contact from the AARP volunteer network. They respond briskly, truth is an absolute defense, and Mac's unedited video is truth incarnate. Meanwhile, Cassidy sends an email, separate from her mother, apologizing for the chaos and expressing genuine interest in Mac's workshop. Her message ends with a digital flyer she designed, "Respect is viral." Mac feels a pang of empathy, collateral damage often hits the innocent. The next vlog upload, titled Midnight Trespass and Teachable Tech Tips, premieres at 6 p.m. Within an hour, 40,000 views. Commenters applaud Mac's measured response, share personal stories of boundaries breached, and request a live Q&A. He schedules one for Sunday afternoon, reminding viewers to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Pre, out on bail and fuming, logs into various platforms to dispute false narratives, but her words meet skepticism. Community sentiment crystallizes around phone footage and police reports, not social media rants. At the Sunday live stream, Mac fields questions from Baltimore to Bakersfield. One retired nurse asks how to safeguard grandkids' devices at public events. Mac demonstrates a $12 silicone grip case. A Vietnam vet wonders about legal recourse for harassment. Mac describes filing incident numbers and saving screenshots. The chat explodes with gratitude emojis. Midway through, Cassidy's screen name appears at honest_Cassie14. She types, "Thank you for speaking truth. Mom's lawyer doesn't represent me." Mac pauses, offers gentle encouragement. "Remember, young creators, your voice is your own. Use it wisely." After logging off, Mac reflects, the saga transcends gadgets and viral moments, it's about personal dignity safeguarded by community. He drafts a letter to the local paper titled Boundaries, Technology, and Civility, urging readers, especially seniors, to document incidents and lean on neighbors. That night, Mac updates the restraining order paperwork with new screenshots. Pri has posted indirect threats on a private network. Officer Ramirez files a violation notice. A hearing date is set for 2 weeks out. Mac breathes easier, knowing due process is underway. Court day dawns brisk and bright. Mac wears his late father's navy blazer, thinking about legacy, how each generation teaches the next to stand tall. The county courtroom buzzes with reporters, some of whom follow Mac's channel for tech tips. Others chase the headline, TikTok demands turn criminal. Pri arrives with high-priced counsel, hair coiffed into helmet perfection. Cassidy trails behind, face pale. Judge Rebecca Whitaker calls the case, State vs. Pendleton, charges, trespass, vandalism, misuse of emergency services, and harassment. Prosecutor Ms. Yates presents surveillance clips, the bolt cutters, the threats, the earlier market meltdown. Mac's ultraslate footage projects onto courtroom monitors, sound crisp, image steady, proof that stabilization matters even beyond family memories. Pri's attorney claims, momentary lapse of judgment, fueled by stress over her daughter's future. Yates counters by reading threatening texts and highlighting the 2 a.m. intrusion. Officer Ramirez testifies, describing bolt cutters, property damage, $129 padlock, $77 gate repair, and Pri's admission on scene. Cassidy takes the stand, voice trembling, confirms she begged her mother to leave before police arrived. Her honesty strikes the jury, empathy shifts. Defense pivots to accuse Mac of exploiting the story for views. Yates objects, judge sustains. Mac later testifies, emphasizing community education, not clicks. He lists the senior-focused workshops, free toolkits, and the donation of ad revenue from the viral video to the Pleasant View Library's Digital Literacy Fund, $1,800 to date. The jury nods, goodwill outweighs monetization. Closing arguments seal the narrative. Yates, boundaries protect us all, young, old, wealthy, modest. When entitlement shatters those boundaries, law steps in. Defense pleads for probation and counseling. Deliberations last 90 minutes. Verdict, guilty on all counts. Sentencing, 60 days in county jail, 200 hours community service at a senior tech helpline, restitution for property damage, and a 1-year no-contact order extended to 1,000 feet. Pri stares at the floor, Cassidy exhales a silent breath of relief. Outside, reporters swarm. Mac offers one concise statement, kindness isn't weakness, and accountability isn't cruelty. Then he ushers Cassidy toward Yates, who arranges a pro bono counseling referral. Back home, Mac's inbox overflows with support. A Florida retiree sends a photo of a neighborhood watch sign, community eyes are older and wiser. Mac smiles. He records a short thank you clip, simple backdrop, gentle guitar outro, and uploads it. Meanwhile, Pri begins her sentence. Local papers publish photos of her answering phones at the helpline, guided by volunteers her own age who show her how to reset passwords for grandpas in Wyoming. Humility is slow work, but service has a way of softening sharp edges. Months pass, red maples trade leaves for snow. Mac's channel now features a weekly senior sleuth series teaching viewers to spot phishing scams. One frosty Thursday, he receives a handwritten letter with county logo stationery, Pendleton requesting a restorative justice meeting post-release. Mac consults Officer Ramirez and agrees under structured mediation. At the community center, they sit across a pine table. Looks smaller without theatrics, her gaze steady but contrite. "Marcus, I was wrong," she begins, voice barely above a whisper. "Entitlement blinded me. I'm sorry for the fear and hassle." Mac listens, hands folded. He isn't required to forgive, yet adulthood, especially in its seasoned chapters, reveals grudges as heavy luggage on aching shoulders. He replies, "Apology accepted. What matters now is what you do going forward." Nods. "I'm volunteering at the helpline beyond my sentence. Cassidy and I plan to co-host a civility workshop. Would you?" She hesitates. "Would you consider mentoring us?" Mac chuckles softly. "Only if I can bring kettle corn." They shake, a fragile bridge built on accountability. Weeks later, the Pleasant View Community Center advertises, Clicks and Courtesy, a family digital etiquette demo, hosted by Mac, and Cassidy. Attendance exceeds fire code, extra folding chairs appear. Mac opens with a story about Rose's wisteria arch, how beauty thrives when tended gently. Shares her prison epiphany, life measured by likes is lonely. Cassidy demonstrates a side-by-side TikTok collage promoting positive comment sections. Local news airs the segment next to weather updates on road salt shortages. Messages pour in from seniors grateful for practical tips and parents relieved by cross-generational dialogue. One evening, Mac checks analytics, subscriber count passes 250,000. He uploads a thank you video filmed beside the wisteria arch now lit with twinkle lights. "Friends, none of this is about phone specs," he tells viewers. "It's about people, learning, stumbling, and standing up kinder." He invites them to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, promising ad revenue donations to libraries nationwide. Spring returns, coaxing daffodils from thawed soil. Pleasant View Market bustles again, same stalls, same brass quartet, new sense of community. Mac strolls the aisle, Ultraslate ZX steady in his grip, not as a weapon in conflict but a bridge among neighbors. Mans a booth labeled Civility and Snacks, handing out kettle corn beside pamphlets on responsible posting. Cassidy records her mom for a video titled From Chaos to Courtesy, already trending under #SecondChances. Mac signs off his vlog from beneath the gazebo. "Folks, technology magnifies everything, our best intentions and our worst missteps. The real power isn't in megapixels but in the choices behind the lens." He points to a new public sign near the entrance, "Respect, Record, Respond," in that order. The camera lingers on the crowd, seniors trading recipe cards, teens filming dance loops that celebrate, not mock. He closes with a gentle challenge. "Wherever you live, protect your boundaries with kindness, document truth with clarity, and believe that people, yes, even the stubborn ones, can learn." He lifts a cup of fresh squeezed lemonade toward the lens. If this journey brought you value, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so our circle of respect keeps growing. And remember, whether you're 19 or 90, every day holds a lesson worth sharing. The video fades out to a simple slide, "Everyday Courage with Mac Harper, thanks for watching." Somewhere in the credits, a line appears in small print, "Chipmunk tuxedos were unavailable for comment." The seniors will chuckle, the grandkids will ask why, and Mac will grin, knowing the answer is another story, waiting patiently in the wings of everyday life.